The arrival of the Vextar Empire. The crimson bioships move through the darkness of space like living nightmares. Each vessel stretched 3 kilometers long, their hulls pulsing with organic rhythms that resembled massive beating hearts. Inside these living warships, the Vextar Empire's greatest hunters prepared for what they believed would be another simple conquest. Commander Sekthar stood 12 feet tall on the bridge of his flagship, his scaled hide shifting colors from deep purple to mottled green as his emotions fluctuated. Like all Vextar, he possessed the natural camouflage of a master predator, skin that could blend perfectly with any environment. His 4 arms ended in claws that dripped with paralytic venom, and his serpentine tail swished behind him with deadly precision. 2 rows of razor-sharp teeth lined his elongated jaw, and his 6 eyes provided perfect vision in all directions. The Vextar had ruled the galaxy for over 5,000 years. They were the ultimate predators, a species that had evolved not just to hunt, but to dominate every ecosystem they encountered. Their empire stretched across 847 conquered worlds, each one falling within days of first contact. No species had ever successfully resisted them. Status report on the target world, Sekthar commanded, his voice a low hiss that resonated through the bioship's living walls. Sub-Commander Vrak consulted the organic readouts growing from the ship's neural center. The 3rd planet shows extensive biodiversity, Commander. Population of approximately 8 billion of the dominant species. They call themselves humans. Preliminary scans indicate they are relatively small, soft-skinned mammals with basic technology. Sekthar's tongue flicked out, tasting the air for the scent of fear that always preceded conquest. But something felt different about this hunt. The biosensors detected something unusual about the small blue world ahead of them. "What concerns you about this world, Sub-Commander?" Sekthar asked, noticing the nervous color shifts in Vrak's hide. "Sir, the biodiversity readings are unprecedented. This world contains more predator species than any planet in our records. Large land predators, aerial hunters, aquatic killers, microscopic parasites. The variety is extraordinary." Sekthar considered this information. In his experience, worlds with many predators usually had very small populations of prey species. The predators would compete until only the strongest survived, leaving a planet with a few apex hunters and little else. Yet this world called Earth supported billions of the dominant species alongside all these other predators. "Perhaps these humans have found ways to hide from their planet's predators," Sekthar mused. "No matter, we shall show them what true predators look like." On Earth, Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the Xenobiology lab at the Global Defense Initiative headquarters, staring at the data streaming across her monitors. As humanity's leading expert on predator behavior and interspecies communication, she had been called in the moment the alien ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. Sarah was a small woman with dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail, but her calm demeanor masked one of the sharpest scientific minds on the planet. She had spent 15 years studying how different species communicated, particularly predators. Her work with wolves, big cats, and marine predators had earned her recognition worldwide. "General Rivera, you need to see this," she called to the tall man studying tactical displays across the room. General Marcus Rivera had led joint military operations on 6 continents. His weathered face showed the experience of someone who had seen combat in every major conflict of the past 2 decades. Despite his military background, he trusted Dr. Chen's expertise completely. "What have you found, Doctor?" Rivera asked, joining her at the monitoring station. "The communication patterns from these ships, they're not trying to talk to us. They're broadcasting dominance signals. It's the same pattern apex predators use to establish territory and intimidate potential threats." Rivera frowned. "So they're not here to negotiate?" "No, General. They're here to hunt. And based on these biosignatures, they're unlike anything Earth has ever seen. Each alien appears to be a perfect biological killing machine." Before Rivera could respond, The main communications array crackled to life. The translation software worked frantically to decode the incoming message. Primitive mammals of the third world. The alien voice was cold and mechanical through the translators. I am Commander Sekthar of the Vextar Empire. Your world now belongs to us. However, we offer you the honor of the Great Hunt. Present your strongest predators for single combat against our champions. If your creatures can defeat ours, we will consider your species worthy of negotiation. Refuse, and we will take your world by force. Dr. Chen and General Rivera exchanged glances. The entire situation seemed impossible. How could Earth's animals compete against alien apex predators that had conquered nearly 1,000 worlds? Doctor, Rivera said quietly, is there any way our wildlife could stand a chance against these aliens? Sarah Chen looked out the window at the city below, where millions of people walked alongside their dogs, where pigeons filled the skies, where rats and cats coexisted in an ancient dance of urban survival. An idea began forming in her mind. General, I think these aliens have made a crucial mistake. They're thinking about this the wrong way. What do you mean? They're assuming Earth's predators are competitors, like on their conquered worlds. But they don't understand what makes Earth unique. Our predators aren't competing with humans. They're cooperating with us. The first Vextar landing ships descended through Earth's atmosphere like falling comets. Commander Sekthar had chosen diverse environments for the initial hunts: the Amazon rainforest, the African savanna, the Arctic tundra, and the Australian outback. Each location would test different aspects of predatory skill. The largest landing ship touched down in the heart of the Amazon basin. Sekthar himself emerged, his scales immediately shifting to match the green and brown patterns of the jungle. Behind him came 6 of his finest hunters, each one a veteran of dozens of conquered worlds. The Vextar moved through the rainforest with perfect stealth, their natural camouflage making them nearly invisible. They expected to encounter large predators like the jaguars their sensors had detected, but the jungle seemed strangely quiet. What Sekthar didn't realize was that Dr. Chen had been working frantically with local wildlife experts and indigenous communities. The humans hadn't just released Earth's predators to fight the aliens. They had coordinated with them. High in the canopy, howler monkeys served as an early warning system, their calls carrying coded information about alien positions. Jaguars moved through the undergrowth with supernatural silence, but they weren't hunting alone. Human trackers followed their movement patterns, coordinating with military units via secure communications. The first attack came from above. A massive harpy eagle, guided by a human falconer's commands transmitted through a micro-radio collar, dove at Sekthar's head. As the alien commander reacted to the aerial threat, a pack of army ants swarmed over his feet, their bites guided by pheromone trails carefully laid by human researchers. While Sekthar dealt with these distractions, the real attack began. 3 jaguars emerged from different directions simultaneously, but they weren't acting on instinct alone. Human guides had trained with these big cats for months, learning their hunting patterns and teaching them to respond to specific signals. As the jaguars engaged the aliens in close combat, human snipers positioned throughout the canopy provided covering fire. It wasn't just animals versus aliens or humans versus aliens. It was the coordinated effort of an entire ecosystem working together. 2 Vextar hunters fell within the first minutes of combat, overwhelmed by the coordinated assault. Sekthar roared in fury and confusion. In 5,000 years of conquest, he had never seen anything like this. Predators and prey species working together as a unified force. Similar scenes played out across the globe. In the African savanna, lions coordinated with human rangers while elephants provided heavy support. In the Arctic, polar bears worked alongside Inuit hunters who had studied their behavior for generations. In Australia, dingoes and crocodiles cooperated with Aboriginal guides in ways that seemed impossible to the confused alien invaders. The Vextar had based their entire battle strategy on the assumption that Earth's predators would compete with each other for the right to face the alien threat. They never imagined that humans had spent thousands of years learning to work with predators rather than against them. Dr. Chen monitored the battles from her command center, coordinating between different theaters of operation. Each engagement provided more data about the aliens' capabilities and weaknesses. The Vextar were individually superior to any Earth predator, but they had never learned to fight against coordinated groups. "General Rivera," she called out, "I'm seeing a pattern. These aliens are perfect solo hunters, but they have no experience with pack tactics or coordinated attacks. They keep trying to engage single opponents, but our forces keep hitting them from multiple directions." Rivera nodded, studying the tactical displays. "It makes sense. If they've been the apex predators on every world they've conquered, they've never needed to learn group combat strategies." As reports came in from around the globe, a picture emerged. The mighty Vextar Empire, conquerors of 847 worlds, was losing ground to a coordinated defense they had never encountered before. For the first time in their species' history, they were facing prey that refused to run, predators that shared territory instead of competing, and an intelligence that had learned to work with nature rather than dominate it. Commander Sekthar retreated to his bioship, his scaled hide dark with rage and confusion. Half of his initial strike force had been eliminated or wounded. The humans and their animal allies had turned every environment into a coordinated trap. This was no longer a simple conquest. This was a war unlike anything the Vextar had ever experienced. And for the first time in 5,000 years, the galaxy's greatest predators were beginning to understand what it felt like to be hunted. The Great Hunt reversed. The bioship's neural center pulsed with angry red patterns as Commander Sekthar received reports from his scattered hunting parties. The news was uniformly disastrous. Across 6 continents, his elite warriors were being systematically outmaneuvered and defeated by combinations of species that should have been impossible. "Commander," Sub-Commander Vrak approached cautiously, his scales showing the pale colors of uncertainty. "We've lost contact with the Antarctic expedition entirely." The last transmission showed them surrounded by massive white-furred predators working alongside the local humans. Sekthar's tail lashed violently, leaving deep gouges in the bioship's living floor. "Impossible. Polar predators are solitary hunters. They cannot coordinate with other species. Sir, our tactical computers have been analyzing the human behavior patterns. They appear to have formed symbiotic relationships with predator species across their entire planet. These relationships span thousands of their years." The commander turned his 6 eyes toward the viewing portal, staring down at the blue world that was proving more challenging than the previous 847 conquests combined. His pride as the galaxy's supreme predator was being challenged in ways he had never imagined possible. "Prepare the Oceanic Assault Force," Sekthar commanded. "Water predators are always solitary. These humans cannot have formed bonds with deep-sea hunters." 3 hours later, massive Vextar bio-submarines descended into Earth's oceans. These living vessels could survive at any depth. Their hunters adapted for underwater combat with gills, webbed appendages, and bioluminescent lures. Commander Sekthar led this assault personally, confident that the ocean environment would finally give his forces the advantage they needed. The submarines approached the Pacific coast, where Dr. Chen had coordinated with marine biologists and naval forces for a defense unlike anything attempted in human history. The key to their strategy lay in humanity's ancient relationship with the ocean's most intelligent predators. As the alien submarines descended past the continental shelf, they encountered the first line of Earth's oceanic defense, a pod of killer whales, led by a massive matriarch named Echo, moved through the water with purposeful precision. But these whales weren't acting on instinct alone. Dr. Maya Delgado, a marine biologist who had spent 20 years studying orca communication, floated in a specially designed submersible alongside the whale pod. Through hydrophone arrays and carefully studied vocalizations, she could communicate basic tactical information to the whales. Echo's pod had been joined by 3 other orca families, creating a superpod of over 40 individuals. As the Vextar submarines approached, the whales began their coordinated attack. They used echolocation to map the alien vessel's positions, then shared this information through complex vocalizations that Dr. Delgado's team had helped interpret. The first alien submarine found itself surrounded by orcas attacking in perfect synchronization, while the killer whales engaged the submarine's bioarmor with their powerful jaws. A school of great white sharks approached from below, guided by electronic tags that allowed human researchers to track and communicate with them. But the ocean's most devastating surprise was yet to come. Sperm whales, the ocean's deepest diving predators, rose from the abyssal depths in coordinated formation. Their massive bulk and crushing bite force overwhelmed the alien hunters, who had never encountered marine predators working in such organized groups. Commander Sekthar watched in disbelief as his oceanic forces were systematically destroyed by an alliance of marine predators. The sight of whales and sharks working together violated everything he understood about predator behavior. "This is impossible," he hissed, his scales cycling through colors of confusion and rage. "Oceanic predators compete for territory. They cannot cooperate." Dr. Chen's voice came through the alien communication systems, her words translated by the bioship's neural networks. "Commander Sekthar, you're making the same mistake on every front. You assume all predators think like the Vextar. But Earth's predators learned long ago that cooperation leads to greater success than competition." The alien commander's response was a roar of pure fury that echoed through the bioship's corridors. "We are the galaxy's apex predators. We have conquered 847 worlds. And every one of those worlds had predators who competed with each other," Dr. Chen replied calmly. "Earth is different. Our predators learn to work together, and they learn to work with us." As if to emphasize her point, reports began flooding in from around the globe. In the Australian outback, dingoes were working with human trackers to herd Vextar hunters into areas where saltwater crocodiles waited in ambush. In the Canadian wilderness, wolves coordinated with human rangers, while grizzly bears provided devastating close combat support. But perhaps most impressive was the urban warfare taking place in major cities around the world. Commander Sekthar had sent stealth units to capture human population centers, expecting the soft city dwellers to surrender immediately. Instead, he found urban environments turned into coordinated hunting grounds. In New York City, pigeons served as an aerial reconnaissance network, their movements monitored by Dr. Chen's team and used to track alien infiltrators. Rats provided intelligence from the underground tunnel systems, while urban-adapted hawks and falcons attacked alien scouts from above. The city's police dogs had been trained to detect the Vextar's unique scent signature, allowing human forces to locate camouflaged aliens, even when they were perfectly hidden from visual detection. House cats, with their natural stealth and climbing abilities, planted tracking devices on alien equipment. General Rivera coordinated the urban defense from a command center that looked more like a zoo than a military facility. Screens showed feeds from cameras mounted on eagles, GPS data from tagged sharks, and audio communications from whale pods. It was a defense network that utilized every species on the planet. "Dr. Chen," Rivera called out, "we're getting reports that the aliens are retreating to their ships. It looks like they're preparing for a final assault." Sarah Chen studied the biological data streaming from monitoring stations around the world. The Vextar were gathering their remaining forces for what appeared to be a desperate last stand. But she had one more surprise prepared for them. "General, it's time to show them what Earth's real apex predators look like." Commander Sekthar gathered his surviving warriors in the bioship's main chamber. Nearly 2/3 of his force had been eliminated or wounded in the past week of fighting. The mighty Vextar Empire, which had never lost a single battle in 5,000 years, was facing complete defeat at the hands of primitive mammals and their animal allies. "Warriors," Sekthar addressed his troops, "we will make one final assault. We will target their largest population center and show them the true meaning of predatory dominance." The surviving Vextar bioships descended toward Earth's surface, heading for the massive metropolitan area surrounding Tokyo Bay. Sekthar believed that by threatening millions of humans simultaneously, he could force their surrender. But Dr. Chen had been preparing for this moment. She had coordinated with wildlife experts, zoos, marine parks, and research facilities around the world for a demonstration that would change the galaxy's understanding of what it meant to be Earth's apex predator. As the alien ships approached Tokyo, they were met by a sight that would haunt Vextar nightmares for generations to come. Rising from the ocean came every species of marine predator that called Earth's waters home. Whales, dolphins, sharks, and giant squids moved in perfect formation, their movements coordinated by human partners who had spent decades learning to communicate with them. From the land came predators from every continent: lions, tigers, bears, wolves, and big cats transported from wildlife preserves and zoos around the world. But they weren't just running wild. Each predator was accompanied by human partners who had trained with them, communicated with them, and formed bonds that transcended species barriers. The sky filled with birds of prey from every corner of the globe. Eagles, hawks, falcons, and owls moved in coordinated flocks, their flight patterns guided by human falconers using techniques perfected over thousands of years. But the most impressive sight was yet to come. Emerging from Tokyo's urban landscape came millions of humans, each one accompanied by the predators they had chosen to share their lives with. Dogs of every breed, from tiny terriers to massive mastiffs. Cats ranging from house pets to rescued big cats from sanctuaries. Even exotic pets like ferrets, snakes, and birds of prey. Commander Sekthar stared at the assembled force with all 6 of his eyes. He was witnessing something that violated every law of predator behavior he had ever learned. An entire planet's worth of predators working together as a single coordinated force. "This cannot be," he whispered, his scales showing the pale white of complete terror. Dr. Chen's voice reached him through the communication array one final time. "Commander Sekthar, you wanted to meet Earth's apex predators. We are not just humans. We are not just animals. We are the partnership between intelligence and instinct, cooperation and competition, civilization and wildness. We are what happens when a species learns to work with nature instead of dominating it." The coordinated assault that followed was unlike anything seen in galactic history. Millions of predators, guided by human intelligence and coordinated through communication systems that spanned the entire planet, attacked the Vextar forces simultaneously from land, sea, and air. The alien bioships, designed to withstand the attacks of individual predators, were overwhelmed by the sheer coordination of the assault. Whales rammed their hulls while eagles attacked their sensor arrays. Wolves coordinated ground assaults while sharks prevented oceanic escape. Within hours, the mighty Vextar Empire's invasion force was completely defeated. Commander Sekthar, wounded and humbled, retreated to his flagship with a handful of survivors. As his bioship limped away from Earth's solar system, Sekthar transmitted a message that would echo throughout the galaxy. "Attention all Vextar forces. The third planet of this system is to be avoided at all costs. The humans and their predator allies represent a threat unlike anything we have encountered. They have mastered the ultimate predatory strategy: cooperation." Dr. Chen stood in her laboratory, watching the alien ships disappear into the darkness of space. Around her, the monitoring equipment still showed the global network of human-animal partnerships that had made victory possible. Dr. General Rivera approached, a smile on his weathered face. "I think we just changed how the galaxy thinks about predators." Sarah Chen looked out the window at the city below, where millions of humans were celebrating alongside their animal partners. Dogs wagged their tails while cats purred contentedly. In the harbor, whales surfaced to breathe while dolphins played in the waves. "General," she said quietly, "I think we just showed the universe something they've never seen before. A species that became apex predators not by dominating other predators, but by making them our partners." The news of Earth's victory spread throughout the galaxy faster than light itself. For the first time in 5,000 years, the Vextar Empire had been defeated. But more importantly, a new concept had emerged in galactic consciousness, the idea that true strength came not from competition, but from cooperation. Earth became known throughout the galaxy as the Alliance World, the first planet where predators had learned to work together rather than against each other. And humanity became recognized as the galaxy's most successful apex predators, not because they were the strongest or the fastest, but because they were the first species to understand that the greatest hunting strategy of all was making friends with other hunters. The Vextar Empire, humbled by their defeat, began to reconsider their entire approach to conquest. Some even sent diplomatic missions to Earth, hoping to learn the secrets of cooperation that had made humanity and their animal allies so devastatingly effective. Dr. Sarah Chen continued her research, now expanded to include communication with alien species. Her work on interspecies cooperation became the foundation for Earth's emerging role as a diplomatic center for the galaxy. And in the cities, forests, and oceans of Earth, the ancient partnership between humans and animals continued to grow stronger, proof that sometimes the best way to be a predator is to make sure you're never hunting alone.